Hello! So it has been a minute. Thank you so much for your patience. My name is Katie, and today I'm talking about the Cabeceo. Personally, I love the Cabeceo. It's one of the things that I really find fascinating about tango, and I always tell people about it when I talk about the dance. It's also definitely one of the most awkward things about tango, at least in the beginning and also now. The cabeceo is how you ask someone to dance in tango. Now, if you dance other dances, you're probably used to, do you want to dance? And maybe even a holding out of the hand. But in tango, that is
just not how it's done.
Typically and romantically, you lock eyes with someone across the room, and then one of you indicates that you want to dance with a little head nod, usually towards the floor. The looking part is the mirada. So you're looking towards a partner that you'd like to dance with. And the cabeceo is that little head inclination and the acceptance of the dance. So looking around, two people find one another, make eye contact, one of them nods towards the floor, the other one accepts. Traditionally, the leader nods towards the floor and the follower accepts, but depending on where you are, there's a lot of gray area. And depending on where you are, there's a lot of variation in how much this is used. I remember this having been explained to me, but it was a whole different thing to execute, to choose someone and make. Wasn't in my comfort zone. The first time I definitely was like, okay, look at them, and then tear, and then look at them, and then oh my god, they're looking at me, and then look at them again, and now they're not looking at me. So it takes a little practice to get used to. So I wanted to give you some tips to help you out. The first thing that I want to encourage is that you use it. While it might feel really awkward at first, use it. If you don't know someone at all, cabeceo. If you're not sure, cabeceo. If you are sure, I know some people who use the cabeceo every single time. Delightful. Other people I know, like, we're friends. We just had dinner, right? So I don't necessarily need that formality. It gives everybody just a bit more autonomy. Okay, now some tips. One thing that I think is helpful to think about is distance. You do not want to be too close to someone to cabeceo. They should be at least 10 feet. I personally, as a dancer, want to be able to see who you are without feeling like someone is hovering over me and I can't even look to see what type of person they are. The other thing that I want you to think about is if you're not separated by a floor or a set of tables, stay out of the directly in front zone. You want to stay in these peripheral corners. Really use the corners. That's where I'm looking for my leaders on any typical floor. And, adjust, move around, especially if you're the leader. The other thing thinking about distance is thinking about your proximity to other dancers. I know that it can feel a little intimidating for the leader, and it can be really kind of difficult to pinpoint somebody, especially if you're like slightly behind someone or if you are like right next to it can get a little. The next thing I want to talk about is timing. When do you do the cabeceo? After the first song of the tanda starts.
And afterward.
Typically, people listen to the first bit of the music, the first few notes of the music, identify what kind of music it is, and then choose a partner from there. So, you've identified the song, you've identified the dancer, you look towards them, you nod towards the floor, they accept. Now at this point, the leader comes over to the follower's seat, and the follower
Waits.
and waits sitting. Why? Because there is a
100% chance.
if you stand up, that actually was for the person next to you, that it was not for you, and you have to go hide forever now. There is a bit of pre-cabeceo that you can think about. While it is not like the full-on like mirada cabeceo during the cortina, there is a little bit of, I see you, I'm curious, we could be good together, all right, that you can throw out, leaving the floor, watching them dance with someone else, seeing them at the snack table. You want me throwing out that positive energy in a playful, fun, or curious way. Now that we've talked about distance and timing, I want to talk about attitude. Again, we want to keep this positive, light, playful, or maybe even a little seductive. But again, you want to be mindful of what you're saying in your mirada. It helps to have a little internal mantra. I know for me, if I'm nervous, if I just had a weird comment, if I haven't gotten a tanda in a minute, I know my face can go a little crazy or even a little bit desperate. So if you're feeling that and you're getting all of the nice little overwhelmed thoughts, sometimes it just helps to take a break, take a deep breath, go get a snack, and remember that it's also just dancing. Go for intentional. I think it feels good for both partners to be a little bit like, I choose you, opposed to the little anyone. In the same way, you don't want to like move down the line. So if you look towards someone and they don't respond, don't like go 1 degree to the right, or go to the other side. To have a little bit of like a lean forward in there, I think it just adds the right amount of spice and delight. Other times I'm gonna be totally goofy and just excited. Depends on the mood, but have fun with it. Careful not to communicate an expectation. Most off-putting cabeceo, this attitude that kind of says, what? You're not dancing with me? Are you serious? Can you not see that I am looking right at you? Like, sometimes that speaks louder than you think. And again, rethink. It all will happen when it's meant to happen. The last thing that we can talk about is how to give a hard no. Friendly in the community, acknowledge them, say hello, express your appreciation for them in the community at a different moment. Maybe when you first arrive, maybe when you're leaving, can help to temper some of those ill feelings that can come up if you are not choosing to dance with that particular person in that particular dance, or with as much frequency as maybe they would like. mirada without the acceptance. So you would do something like, which again sends a real clear message, like, I saw you and I have not accepted to dance. It's rough, but we all know sometimes you just gotta do what is exactly right for you. So just be empowered in that. Thank you so much. It's really fun to get back in front of the camera again after a couple weeks of break. And I hope that these tips and thoughts on the cabeceo are helpful for you in your next outing. If you have any great cabeceo stories or further tips, I'd love to hear about them below. So don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more. I hope that your next milonga is filled with marvelous miradas and divine tangas. Take care.